Okay, Cashstick Bowcraft here. It's the second day after applying the rawhide and wrapping the bow. And as you can see at the ends here that were left sticking out, the rawhide is pretty stiff and hard again. So hopefully it's the same way on the bow as well. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to unwrap the bow and see how it turns out. So I'll get the camera up and show you guys how I do that. Okay, so I don't know if you can see me or not, but so basically you just take one end of the tape. Start unwrapping it. See how it turns out. The only bad thing about it is that you might be able to use this tape again on another bow. So it's a good idea to try not to tear it as you're removing it. But if you use the Ace bandage, which is more of a cloth-like material, you can use it for, you can use it over and over again. So sooner or later, though, it loses its elasticity, and after a while, you won't be able to tape it to itself, or it won't be able to stick to itself. But that's okay, because you can still secure it with masking tape or something when you get to the end. So here we go. We're just taking off the tape right now. I had a few minutes before I had to run off to work this morning, so I figured I'd take this, do a video on how we remove the tape. Nice and flat, no air bubbles. Okay, so there's how it looks. You can see the rawhide's nice, like a golden brownish color. You can see some imperfections, natural imperfections in the rawhide, but it looks like it's adhering very well to the bow. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint on some designs here. The client wanted me to paint on some of my Cashstick patterns on here. And when that's done, we'll do another video or take some pictures later. But that's how you remove the tape, and that's how it looks. It's nice and adhered to the bow. Now what we're going to do, we're going to cut off all of this excess, all of the excess rawhide, and clean up the edges here so that all these excess, the excess rawhide will be removed from the bow. Okay, so we'll turn the camera on after we get that done and show you how it looks. Okay, Cashstick Bowcraft here. So this is what it looks like after you peel off the excess rawhide. You can see the rawhide here on the back of the bow. And what I did, this rawhide was very thin, which is good. There's no problem with that at all. But typically what I do is I just take off the rawhide with a razor blade. Just be careful not to cut into the wood and cut it off. But since this rawhide was rather thin, it was just as easy for me to just sand it off. And basically what you do, you get the sandpaper, and when you scrape off the rawhide or sand off the rawhide, you go in the direction of the rawhide. You don't want to go this way because you might chance and lift it off the bow. So you want to go across and away from the or in the direction, I should say, or away from the rawhide, so that you don't lift it up going the other way. So we're going to go ahead and do this limb. This limb still has the excess rawhide off. I'll show you really quickly how to do that. But basically you want to get into this position here where you've scraped it off. This is where I've sanded it off already, and you can see that I'm showing a little bit of the masking tape underneath. So I just sand it until I hit the masking tape, and then I stop, and then what you can theoretically do is just peel off the tape and the excess rawhide will go with it. But in this particular project, I guess it could be called what not to do when you're rawhide backing a bow. And that is, if you recall in the beginning of the video, I went and sized both limbs. Well, I sized both limbs with glue, so usually you do one half at a time. That way you can always use the other limb that you haven't put the glue on yet to clamp down. So that was one error. The other error was, as I was waiting for the rawhide to be mailed to me, what I did was, like I said before, I went and put masking tape on the sides of the bow, which is, a good idea. But I did it a few days ahead of time in advance of getting the actual rawhide. And what I did, I taped on the masking tape, and every once in a while I would come back and make sure if it started to peel off, press it back down, because I didn't want glue to get in between the tape and the wood. Well, now since the tapes have been on there for such a while, I'm not able to pull it off in one long strip. It comes off in small, well, this one's pulling off a lot easier, but it pulls off, or it tears off, and then all of the residue from the tape stayed on the wood. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't mask the bow until you're just about ready to put the rawhide on. Don't do it a few days in advance, because what I had to do, I had to take the knife and scrape off all of the residue, and that took some time. That's what I had to do to this limb here. So anyway, what I'll do, I'll get the camera set up and I'll get this bow clamped in, and I'll show you how to do the how to remove this excess rawhide here, and then I guess that'll be it. Okay, so I have the bow clamped into the vise here, and what we're going to be doing is removing the excess from this side of the limb. Like I said, I already sanded this side, and you could see the wood is showing, or the masking tape is showing, and we're going to do this side now, so you can see how that process is actually done. So I'm just going to set the camera down here, and basically what I have here is just a regular sanding block. Well, I got some 60 grit sandpaper, and like I said, you want to go down across or away from the rawhide, because you don't want to go up and risk the chance of lifting the rawhide off the bow. So basically what you're going to be doing is just sanding it down, and it comes off relatively easy because the rawhide is so thin. The sandpaper just goes right through it. If it was thicker, I'd probably use a razor blade. You want to be careful not to sand across the top, because you don't want to damage the rawhide up on top. Okay, so that's how it looks. You can see that we've got the masking tape showing, and so basically all we got to do is just peel off this excess layer, and we should have supposed to go like just like this. That's the way it's supposed to work. Some of the excess glue fell in between, but that's okay. It would be better if we could just peel off this masking tape in one big strip. But it's stuck on there real good because I had it on there for a few days. I'm gonna have to take a knife. What you do, or what I do, I just take the back end of my knife and just scrape across the top of it, just get all that masking tape off of there. Anyway, when I get done with that, I'll turn the video on and we'll complete this video. Okay, Cash Stick Bowcraft back. I got the excess rawhide trimmed off of the limbs. You can see down there, it's a nice and clean look. And like in my previous the previous video, I put masking tape along the edges of the bow so that when the glue overfilled, it wouldn't stick to the sides of the bow. And then the plan was just to peel off the tape. Well, anyway, like I said, the tape I put the tape on a few days before ahead of time, and when I came to tear off the tape, instead of a long strip, it came off in it tore off in little pieces. So I had to actually get a knife and just scrape all the residue and all the sticky stuff off of the limbs. And after I did that, I sanded them back down again. So it took me a little time, but basically we're done doing the rawhide backing for this bow, and you can see how it turned out. Nice brownish golden color here, and got some natural defects in the rawhide, but it came out to be in pretty good shape. Here's the where the two pieces met, and I'm going to cover this area with a wrap anyway, so you won't be able to see that. I should have actually done it a little bit higher. But everything came out pretty good. When you lay the rawhide, the nocks get filled up with glue, so you got to get the chainsaw file and clean them back out again. But all in all, it came out pretty good. So there you go. That's how I do rawhide backing on a longbow. Sorry this video is so long. But it is what it is. Anyway, Cash Stick Bowcraft, how I rawhide back a hickory longbow. Thanks for watching.